What's happening, people? Hope everyone is well. This is the first of what will hopefully be many podcasts, depending on how it's received.
Yeah, I'll say we've already recorded one, but I wasn't a fan of how it looked.
No, and it was a test one as well, so
Yeah,
we didn't have this sort of a setup, and it was done a little bit amateurish, wasn't it?
yeah, it's a shame because we were saying about the stuff we spoke about was good,
Yeah, it was good stuff.
but yeah, it just wasn't. It didn't have quite the same
No,
feel. Like obviously, we showed a couple of people in there who were like, yeah, put it up. It's just that what it's like as a person when you
mm.
do something, you're like, yeah, especially like doing the singing videos and stuff, you end up doing it 100 times
Oh,
because you're like,
I've done it so many times.
yeah,
That's what makes me laugh when we put those videos out, and I get people coming out, "You killed that," and I'm like, yeah. And I'm just
yeah,
playing it humble, and I'm like, I've done that about 100 times.
yeah.
You saw the one that went out, not all of the fucking ones that I've done before.
Yeah, the voice cracking, the
Yeah,
camera moving, and
it drives me
starting
mad.
the video too late and
I've
stuff
done it
like
before,
that.
and I've listened to three quarters of the song, and I'm killing this. And then
Yeah,
there's one thing in it, one note that didn't go well, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not uploading that.
well, yeah, but this is potentially going to be the proper first one.
Yeah.
So obviously there'll be stuff that we'll talk about again.
Mhm.
But yeah, the idea is to just sort of talk about Harry's sobriety and stuff. Just because Harry isn't on social media, and I
No.
get a lot of people asking me, so we just said about basically doing like a video podcast type thing to talk about where he's at and what he's
Yeah.
doing, and then potentially then talk to other people, some people that Harry knows and things we've been through. We just thought it'd be quite
Mm.
interesting for people to see, and a lot of people want to know what's going on. So,
Yeah, because as you've said before, the amount of people that come up to you and ask after me, which I appreciate, obviously, but yeah, where I'm not on social media, which is just my own choice. You know what I mean? I didn't need it. I didn't really want to be on there anymore. It means that I'm not in contact with people. So I do feel bad sometimes, but yeah, it's my own personal preference not be on there. So obviously you get bombarded by people
yeah,
asking, and there's only so much you can say.
yeah, what about and stuff? People come up, I don't know, how's Harry? And I'm like, yeah, good. And then I end up just getting bored of answering the
Yeah,
same
the
shit
same
all the
thing. Yeah.
time. It's
So do
always
I.
just, yeah, still sober,
Yeah,
doing all right, I think. Yeah, and obviously I'm not in the same house anymore, so I don't see you as much.
yeah,
But yeah, no, as I say, it's like you say, it's nice for people to ask and
yeah,
stuff. But it just thought, yeah, the idea was there. We always sort of thought when we're out, a lot of people tend to find us funny or
yeah.
want to listen to stories that you've got and things
Mhm.
like that. So
I've got plenty of them and all.
yeah, so we just thought like put a camera on and see what happens. Try our best to not get arrested and
Yes. Well, at the
keep
moment,
it.
I mean, there's nothing really planned at the moment, but we've had a few ideas.
Yeah,
So going forward, there might be a couple of podcasts or videos that are on specific points,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
some
yeah.
of them might be a bit more like today, where we have no idea what we're about to say.
No, it's
Just
just all
put a camera
natural.
up and we'll just talk and see what happens, and hopefully upload it.
Yeah, because that was my issue with recording the last one. Is the first like 15 minutes was just so stiff and
Yeah, it was
upright,
awkward. Yeah.
and like we were still talking about good
Mm.
stuff, but you don't get that same connection when someone's no.
Yeah.
So I did this thing, and it was
Yeah.
just a little bit like that, and then 15 minutes in we started flowing a bit more. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it should be.
It's
Like,
hard as well because of stuff that we spoke about in the first one that we're probably not going to repeat because then it's not organic.
yeah,
The idea
yeah,
of
yeah,
saying that again when I know that we said it before. So it doesn't matter because other stuff will come up and it'll be fine.
yeah.
But that's the whole point is I don't want it to seem planned.
No, I think that's something we do quite well naturally. Just day to day
Yeah,
life is we're quite spontaneous.
yeah.
So.
And eventually I think it will get better each time as far as us being unaware that there's even a camera there,
Mm.
other than the effort that it takes to set it up. But
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Where the idea is that it's just two people talking. Whatever
Yeah,
comes out, and hopefully people enjoy it.
yeah. That's why like a few people have said to me, like, is it a podcast then? And obviously you sort of refer to it as a podcast, but I kept saying like it's not.
No,
It's not like it. We're not sitting in a studio. We're
no.
not. It's not like specific things or like I say about having people on potentially, but it's not
Mm.
like this week we've got this
Yeah,
person.
special
And,
guest.
yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about this thing and
Mm.
this happened in the news today, and it was sort of like let's just sort of put a camera.
It
up
will
and see
come
what
down to the
happens.
comments and that as well, because that's the thing. Hopefully, it gets received well. People like and comment, and then they might give us ideas. And obviously, again, I won't be on there necessarily, but you can show me what people
Yeah,
are saying, and then depending on what people say in the comments, we might then be able to steer it a different way to
yeah.
give the people what they want.
Yeah, so even that, obviously, I said originally I'm going to upload it onto Facebook because that's
Mm.
where obviously I have most people. But I have set up a YouTube channel that's not like properly activated or nothing yet, which is what that's on.
Mm.
Yeah, I've just set up like a 20-second video so we can put that on the screen
Yeah.
as the background. But that will be the picture on the actual
Yeah.
channel, and then eventually, obviously, if we start getting enough viewers, I'll start putting them on the YouTube as well.
Yeah.
On the YouTube.
On
Sounded
the
like
YouTube,
fucking
like 40-year-old man, yeah.
but on YouTube.
Yeah.
And eventually we might still do them on Facebook just for certain family members that maybe don't want to
Yeah.
use, or like some people get, because even when I've done the singer video, some people are like, yeah, I don't really want to go on to YouTube.
But then that comes down to what the people want. Again, it's what they put in the comments.
Yeah.
As far as if they're sort of saying, no, put a link up, and they'd rather it like that because then
Yeah.
they could watch it on their tellies rather than watching it on their phone. It depends what they want.
Yeah.
If they'd rather it be a Facebook thing, the video comes up and they play it and sit there and watch it. Because I think we're planning on doing like half an hour, 40
For
minutes.
now, yeah.
Yeah.
And then if people want longer, we'll start pushing
If they
it.
want shorter.
If they want shorter,
If
yeah.
they're
they
like,
might
that's
just
too
go,
long.
just keep it to 10
Yeah.
minutes, because past 10, you're
Yeah,
boring.
I'm getting sick of you.
Yeah. But
Yeah, but it's going to happen.
it's just natural.
Turn it into a drinking game.
Yeah.
Every time Jules says but
How terrible is that? Oh, we're going to talk about Harry's sobriety, but every time
yeah.
I say but if you drink,
yeah,
that's
drink
probably,
for me.
Yeah.
It
brings in that mixed crowd, because
Exactly.
I'm sitting there waiting for the chat about, yeah, I've been through that. I know how it feels.
But then we've discussed that as well, because obviously this will be sobriety heavy in a way, or recovery heavy, because that's what I'm going through.
And that's what people sort of want to know.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that it's obviously it is the biggest part of my life at the moment. A day in, day out is all about staying sober and doing what I can to keep myself sane. So obviously it's going to be a huge talking point, but I don't want it to turn into just a recovery video, because for the majority of people out there, they might not want to hear about it. They might specifically want to talk about me or what I've been through.
Where you're at and what you're doing.
Yeah, which obviously I'm more than happy to talk about. That's sort of the point. But, well, not everything. There'll be some things that are held back. There's stuff that I haven't told anyone, and I'm certainly not going to put it out in a video to people.
Maybe.
We'll
Cheeky
see.
Exclusive for the camera.
Maybe. There might be a few stories that come out.
Also, I'm planning on getting a Red Bull sponsorship.
Yeah, I'm planning on getting a Monster.
We're not talking about that,
because
but
it's better.
this will be happening throughout. I'll just have a sip every now and then. So even if you don't want to listen to us and you're not enjoying this, if you just like me enough just to keep liking and sharing, tag Red Bull, and then eventually we'll get a sponsor, and then we'll both be drinking it, because I'll turn. It will happen.
This is something that when we've talked about different videos to do, this was one of them.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
was to do like a versus, because we have always disagreed on this. I like Red Bull, don't get me wrong, and I drink Red Bull. But given the choice, but this is going to be another episode. We can start getting into it now.
We'll get to that another time. Yeah, so like I say, we'll talk about the sobriety and stuff now, because that's the main thing that a lot of people ask me is, how's Harry getting on? Is he still sober? And I'm always sort of like, it's the same. Yeah, he's doing all right. I never 100% know how long it is, but I always, because I'll talk to you and I'll ask, and then you'll
how
tell
long
me.
I've been sober.
Yeah, and then people will ask, and then I'll be like, I know it's over a couple of years, and then
it's just over a couple of weeks ago. I don't know what date we are today, but
20th.
20th. So about 6 days ago, officially was 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Yeah, so it's like 2 years, 6 months, and 6 days. 4 hours, 39 minutes, and 33, 34, 35. Just counting.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I always know it's over a couple of years. But obviously now, I think the last person that probably would have, I couldn't say who it was, but I'd say it's 2.5 years now.
Yeah. But I'm the same. It's only because it's just come up to like a milestone that I know it, because I was aware that I hit it. But otherwise, I sort of say the same thing, coming up 2.5.
Yeah. But then was that different when you was first sober?
I knew every second.
Yeah, because obviously you struggle. Whereas obviously I'd say you still struggle past it, but like when you hit that year mark, then past the year, you're still watching it, because you're like, I've hit the big one now. Year
was massive. Year's what you aim for, because there's something about, I think any time before a year, and I got those reactions, people don't seem to take it seriously.
Yeah.
So even 6 months, I haven't had a drink for 6 months. People, you still go, okay, yeah, we'll see. You know what I mean? And what didn't help is that it sort of come around the end of lockdown. So when lockdown happened, I drank a lot, as you can imagine. I was sat in my room and I just drunk day and night and didn't really care. And then the pubs reopened, then I went out and I was hitting it hard, as I always was. And then, as most people know, I've had 3 heart attacks. So I had my 3rd heart attack at 26. And that was when I drank for about 2.5 weeks after that, when I finally went out. That's I'm done.
But that was after lockdown?
Yeah. Yeah, because it was back in pubs.
I sort of forgot that, because I remember being...
But there was another mini lockdown again after.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, because I remember being, like, when it had all fully cleared up and you could start going in garden, and then it sort of carried on from then. I remember going in Arcade, and you had a cup of tea.
That was when I was first sober, That was about a month sober.
I didn't realise it was that soon to when you were sober. I thought you had been a couple of months.
No, I was new. That was the first time I'd gone back into a pub.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Yeah, like as a sober man.
I thought it'd been longer than that.
Yeah, I can't remember. I could be wrong, because it's a bit of a blur now. But I think it was still fairly early into sobriety, because I remember being nervous.
Yeah.
I remember going down there and struggling. But yeah, no, the early days. So like I say, any time before that, people would sort of assume, yeah, you'll drink again. And as I was going to say, because it was lockdown-ish, people are thinking when the pubs are fully formed or the clubs are back open, then you'll go out. And I had to keep saying, no, this is serious this time. I'm doing my steps. I'm doing it all properly. So hitting a year, I think was when people first took notice. You know what I mean? It's got a ring to it that people go, oh wow,
Yeah.
a year.
I know it's like irrelevant to being an alcoholic as well, but the pubs not being as busy as they was, did that help at all?
No, because most of my drinking that I
Was
preferred
indoors.
was indoors. So don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the pubs. I enjoyed going out. I liked to mingle if I was in the right frame of mind.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
come down to how I was feeling, and there was times when I wanted to go out, but then as you know, there was many times while I was out, I'd end up hating everyone there and being like, I just want to go home and drink. And then that was when I'd come in here, drink whiskey in my pants, and listen to Conway Twitty weeping
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. No, it's just because obviously it sounds stupid because it's like with an alcoholic, it doesn't matter where you are. That's sort of the point.
No.
Is diseases that you're addicted to the drink.
And that's something that we will get onto more that I want to talk about is the disease and the illness of being an alcoholic.
That
I don't think people
don't
understand.
realise every day.
No, and they don't. It's hard to explain. all addictions are the same. So regardless of what it is, whether it's heroin, whether it's gambling, whether it's alcohol, whether it's food, eating, which you know about, it's all the same. Everyone, you know what I mean? You're affected in the exact same way. None are worse than the other. But I don't think people take alcoholism seriously. They see it as like a selfish thing, like people are choosing to drink, but they're really not. You really
Do you
don't
think
have a
that's down
choice.
to like because there's so many people that can't handle the drink, or you've got people that are binge drinkers?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just it's a hard one to explain because it's legal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to go to a back alley.
You can smoke 40 a day and someone goes, oh, what's he like?
Yeah.
Or you drink a
Yeah.
bottle of whiskey.
So if you're doing hard drugs,
yeah,
the effort that you've had to go through to get that, as far as you've had to ring a number or get it for a friend and you had to go and meet someone. But obviously with alcohol, you can just be out in the open with it.
Yeah.
So I don't think people realise how damaging it is and how many people die of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm very, very lucky to still be it.
I tell people that a lot. Yeah.
It seems ridiculous, and I think people are like, "Oh, what were they like small little cardiac episodes?" And I'm like, "No, I was taken into hospital." You know what I mean? In the first one that happened, which you weren't there.
I weren't there for any.
No, so you weren't there that night, but there was a lot of people that will watch this that was there that see it, where I had chest pains, my left arm went.
Yeah.
Something weren't right. I was in the pub, I went to go outside to get some air and have a fag, and I just went over. And then I was outside, couldn't move. Obviously, I'm in tears. People around me are in tears. Everyone thinks I'm about to die. Ambulance picked me up, took me to the hospital. They told me they'd done my ECG in there, and I can't remember the number, but ridiculous. They're like, you're having cardiac arrest, you're having a heart attack. Took me to the hospital, and I sobered up slightly, and then I'm in the hospital, and I need a drink. So I'm saying to the woman, I'm like, look, let me go around the corner to a shop and get a bottle of whiskey, and I'll come back, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But she's like, you're having a heart attack. And I'm like, I know, but I need a drink. So she went to get a doctor, and I basically pulled the wires out and left. And then, which again, some people might remember, I put it all on Snapchat.
Yeah.
I recorded myself leaving the hospital with the wires, and I recorded myself back indoors down in a bottle of whiskey at 4 a.m. after having a heart attack.
Yeah, which is really disrespectful.
Of course it is. I hurt a lot of people's feelings, which I couldn't see at the time.
But then I think that comes back to the not knowing the disease and stuff. That to most people that seem disrespectful. Where it's just like, I can't believe you've done that after what you've just gone through. It just reminded me of that video.
What's that?
Oh fuck! I can't believe you've done that. But yeah, they're going to be looking at it thinking like, yeah,
selfish.
Yeah, but obviously without realising that it's also not really your fault.
No, and
part of it is, part of it's not.
It's been medically proven that it is a disease.
Yeah.
So this might be controversial to say, but I'm telling you it's true. It's the equivalent to me of somebody having cancer and you not giving them the respect they deserve. I honestly believe that because it does kill people. It isn't a choice. People don't choose to have a drink or not to drink. Like it takes over them. The word they use is powerless. You are powerless over alcohol.
Yeah, the only reason I say it's 50-50 is because the idea of being like, I'm going to get my phone out and film this.
It's ridiculous.
That's on you. Partly because obviously you are drunk.
It was my ego at the time because I couldn't. A lot of people saw me vulnerable. A lot of people and saw me taken into an ambulance, and my brain couldn't handle the idea of being weak and vulnerable in front of people. Yeah. So I felt the need to front it out. So I fronted it out on Snapchat, and I went back out the next night. I walked into town, and people are like, "What are you doing?" And that I remember being the turning point where people stopped thinking I was a legend, this geezer that went out and drunk, or no, he's a hero, mate, he's so funny, to being like, this is just sad now.
Yeah, you start becoming them people that when you're in the pub, you're like,
People wanted to
when you
avoid
see him
me,
come
yeah.
in, you're like, oh, I can't be thinking.
Yeah, I don't want him wrapped around me, yeah.
Yeah, which is obviously not what
Well,
you
you
want.
know that better than anyone.
Yeah.
As far as not wanting me around.
Well, I was going to say, that's why I think I didn't see it at its worst with the heart attacks, because by that point, I just wasn't, I didn't want to be out with you.
No.
And obviously, Christ. Yeah, you'd say about, oh, you going out, you doing this, and I'd be like, oh, I think I'll probably go with my mates, and because I didn't want to say to you outright, like,
Yeah.
I don't want you out with me. And then got more and more to a point where it was sort of like, no, I would just say to you, no, I want to be with my mates tonight.
Yeah.
I didn't want you out, so I'd let you just do your own thing, and then I wouldn't see none of it.
No. And that's what I'm saying. It depended on the night and how I was feeling at the time and that, but as far as whether I'd stay out. So sometimes I'd stay out and I'd end up back at someone's house or flat or whatever, and I'd keep going. And other times, 9 times out of 10, I'd come home by myself, unless I got lucky that night, as far as got with a girl or something.
Yeah.
Then I'd end up back here and then just drink alone. And as we discussed before, you've got you and Dad, who are unbelievable drinkers as far as I'm concerned. Because that was something we spoke about before, but that I want to get across as well, is I don't condemn alcohol.
Yeah.
I think alcohol, when used correctly, is one of the greatest things in the world. I think it's amazing, and I wouldn't have got as far as I have in my life without alcohol. I wouldn't have made friends, I wouldn't have got jobs, things like that, all that I'd done under the influence while I was a drinker that got me places. But obviously the bad started to outweigh the good by a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to stop. It would have killed me in the end. But someone like you and Dad that can go out, drink, let's say, a normal amount, whatever that is, and then be able to just call it a night. Go, Dad used to have a phrase, I don't know if he still says it, where he used to go, my back teeth are floating.
Yeah.
That was his way of saying he didn't want another drink. Oh, no, that would do, my back teeth are floating. Whereas for me, that didn't exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could keep putting in for days, weeks, months, and never stop. And again, like I mentioned earlier, the idea that I'm up here crying, listening to Conway Twitty, and he sat in the front room with a kebab watching Family Guy, pissing himself laughing.
Yeah.
I couldn't get my head around that. So obviously there's like a lot of anxiety, a lot of guilt that comes with drinking, but then there's confusion. As far as, why am I like this? Why can't I be like them? Why can't I just have a laugh and then stop?
Yeah. Yeah, because I find a lot of the time when I'm out, I'll be chatting to people, and say someone comes over and they are drunk or they're out of it, and then they'll say to me like, "Well, you're not drunk."
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, "Yeah," and then they'll be like, "No, no, there's no way you're drunk.
Yeah.
Like you need to drink more." And
Because
I'm
you're
like,
not acting.
and it's like, yeah, because I can't think of a time other than maybe like one or two when I was a bit younger that I've ever been like out of it. And even then, it wasn't like I've got this weird thing that it don't matter how drunk I get, I'll lose the functioning of my body if I drink enough, but my brain is always there.
Yeah.
I said, and I think that the one time I could think of experiencing that was like enough for me to be like, yeah, I don't want to do that again. Like, I'll just drink to a point where I'm like, in my head, I know I'm good. I said, but I never black out. I don't get the idea.
But then
of blackout.
what you just explained there is the difference between an alcoholic and a non-alcoholic. You know what I mean? As far as that you have that in your brain to go, like you've had a bad experience and you go, I don't really want to go through that again. So then you're able to keep yourself in check.
Yeah.
Drink a good amount, not get too carried away. Whereas an alcoholic doesn't have that filter.
No.
Once the way they describe it is like it's an allergic reaction. Same as if someone's allergic to strawberries, they'll have a reaction if they was to eat them. So for an alcoholic like me, if alcohol touches my system, I have a reaction to it, unlike a normal person, and that's when I end up in a state.
Yeah.
Then I cannot stop. I'll keep going. I lose all filter and awareness of whether I'm upsetting people. And now, if I was to drink, as far as it would kill me. It's as simple as that. My heart would give up.
Yeah, the tolerance has just gone down.
Yeah, it would kill me. My body is not recovered fully yet as far as the damage that I did to my body and my head.
Yeah.
And again, as a lot of people knew that I put it out on Facebook back when I had it, that I got diagnosed with Korsakoff syndrome, which is wet brain, which is like an alcoholic dementia, and just battered my brain with whiskey and with alcohol. And and I'm now sort of paying for my actions now, which is understandable. You can't get away with that.
Yeah, but then once again, that comes back to the why is it acceptable for people to think, oh, he's just a drinker, rather than if someone was struggling from like a drug addiction, and coming off that, being like, I'm suffering with this and that, people are like, oh, bless him.
Bit more
at least
sympathetic.
at least he's trying.
Yeah.
He's trying his best, and now he's suffering the consequences. You don't really think that with
I
like an
think because
alcoholic.
the most people drink,
Yeah.
so obviously not everybody does heroin. So the idea of doing a drug like that is scary.
Yeah.
Whereas not everyone, but most people have drunk alcohol. So the idea of someone acting that way on alcohol, their brain goes, well, I drink and I don't do that. And yeah, that's when it's like, yeah, because they have a disease.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why that happens. It is an illness. It is a real thing. And it takes lives.
Yeah. And obviously, if you ain't around that, when you don't know people that are going through that, you wouldn't think about it.
No, I've seen it. I've lost friends within the last year. A
Yeah.
few people I've lost because of alcohol. And it's heartbreaking every single time. And obviously, I would have just been another name on that list if I hadn't have stopped when I did. And that was the thing that I used to preach at the time. Is it felt like a win-win to me when I was drinking, when my heart was going, because one of two things was going to happen. Either one, I was going to keep surviving, in which case I'm a legend that can have multiple heart attacks and not die, and I just felt like a rock star. Or two, it was going to kill me, in which case good, because I didn't want to be here anymore anyway. Put me out of my misery. So there didn't seem like a downside. And I used to say I was welcoming death. Come and take me. Come and knock on the door. I'll invite you in and take me away. And then he knocks on the door, and I went, oh, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Once he arrived, I was like, oh no, I haven't thought this through. And then that's when I had to make a change.
Yeah, because I still remember, like, I use it. Obviously, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but like, I use it a lot with people when I chat about like feeling down, being depressed. I said there's one that really sticks with me when I spoke to you, and it was the most normal day. We both ended up being off work, and we decided to pop round Nan's. And I said I remember we was walking, and we were chatting and laughing. It was so normal, and this is like a lot of people don't realise with depression and stuff, and whether that's drinking, drugs, whatever. We were chatting, and out of nowhere, you was like, I'll be honest with you. You said I didn't think I'd be doing this today. And I said, I was like, what do you mean? And you had it in your head that you was off and you was going to get the train to Beachy Head. And you was going to throw yourself off and that would be it. And obviously at the time, I sort of just took it and moved on and we carried on with the day. But I remember at the time, my heart dropped because I'm like, that's my older brother just said to me, I didn't think I was going to be walking having a laugh with you today. I was planning on doing this.
Yeah.
And I use it a lot when people ask me what it's like suffering, because I'm like, well, that's one of them. Because obviously all my mates know you and family and stuff. And I'll say, well, you know Harry, you see him, he's laughy, jokey, you mess around and stuff, and then it's like, well, I've had that conversation with him, we're out of nowhere. This was my plan today, this is what was going to happen, so.
Yeah, because at the time when I was at my most depressed, I mean, again, I've said this before to people, but at certain times in my life, if I had a loaded gun, I would not be here now. That's a fact. There is times in my life when I would have done it, but it wasn't as accessible to just do it then and there.
No.
And the way I used to always have it in my head was jumping.
Yeah.
Don't know why, that was always the way I fancied doing it. Like, yeah, I'd go up somewhere high and I'd jump. But then, obviously, again, I think we can talk about it. I don't think Mum minds, but with Mum's suicide attempt, she's pretty open about it and tells people, so I don't think she'll mind. But we now know firsthand how that feels. To have a member of your family, especially your mum, to attempt to take her own life, and how we felt. And we didn't consider her. She wasn't selfish. She has her own demons and her own mental health issues, and unfortunately, it took her to that place.
Yeah, like obviously, if anyone don't know, she has bipolar, so it's not just a general depression. No. It's not like it was obviously now she's been tested. We didn't know before that. But obviously, she has bipolar, so that's.
But we know how it feels to have that. So obviously, I couldn't put my family through that.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that stopped me from doing it. If I had my way, I would have gone years ago. But then obviously I wouldn't be here now. And I am living a much happier life now that I've got sober. I'm working hard. I've got a missus now, which was something I never thought I was going to have. No. But I'm really happy in my relationship. And yeah, I'm doing a lot better than I was before. And that's because of getting sober.
Yeah. Yeah, I think especially with Mum, I think it was quite strange that obviously she tried an overdose twice, both like just as bad as each other, and obviously the consequences for that for her now, which makes it even harder to think if you're suffering enough anyway that she now can't work and do things like that because of what she's ended up doing to her body. But I remember the first time going through the grief of like, I can't believe this is happening, it's sad, and it's like you don't know what to do with yourself, and just like, I need you to pull through, I need you to come back. I said, and then I was sitting there with Nan the second time. I remember we was both having a conversation at that time. It was the complete opposite, where I'm like, if this is what she wants, I'm almost an acceptance where I'm like, if this is honestly what she wants, like, well, this is the second time around now, it's a lot more serious, where I'm like, if I lose my mum now, I'm already accepted it in my head because I thought that was it. I was like, it's done.
I mean, again, I really don't think Mum and mind talking about this, but me and her had a conversation about it because the idea of her being selfish by trying to take her own life and not thinking about us. But then I said to her, there's an argument on the other side that we are selfish for rushing her to a hospital and bringing her back.
Yeah.
Like, she has decided that she doesn't want to be here anymore, and we've gone, well, we're not letting you go.
Yeah.
And we've made her get help and come here. It's like, no, we're not. We need you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's why I don't think it's fair to say it's a selfish act, especially when someone's genuinely suffering with mental health.
Yeah.
Which is what we want to talk about as much as being sober.
Because,
as we said before, me stopping alcohol literally just broke a habit. It broke a habit. It stopped me from drinking. It got me clean and sober. It didn't cure me.
But if anything, it clears your thoughts more. Because the drink's not clouding your mind anymore. You're coming out the other side realising, oh no, I'm actually struggling with this.
I've got plenty of mental health issues. Yeah. I've had a hard life to a certain extent. I've been through plenty, and I'm still suffering. So yeah, that's what a lot of this has got deep fast.
I know,
by the way. Like really quickly just went dark.
Yeah.
But again, it's down to whether this is what people want to talk about. There's not going to be all doom and gloom the whole time.
No.
Because the only way that we've got through everything we've been through is to have a sense of humour about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's just laughing.
Yeah, you have to laugh.
I've sort of, even with like my close mates now, I've sort of got it that if I'm having a bad week or I'm struggling, or I feel like I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't want to be here. I'll literally, because I've said to now, I'm like, if I send you a message, I don't want to talk about it. I said, but I will send you a message to say I've had a really shit week, and I'm lucky that I'm still here or whatever, or I'm just about in the right mindset. I said, but I'm just telling you, and it's sort of like some people use it in different ways. Some people use social media. Some people use a therapist. I said, but I don't think mine's serious enough that I need to worry about it. I said, but like, I'll just text someone and just be like, I've had a bad week. And that's it. I just leave it there. It's done. Move on with it. And then you're laughing and joking again.
Because how do you feel about the fact that, and this isn't a dig at people, but obviously you have a lot of people come over and ask how I'm doing. You have a lot of people ask how Mum's doing.
Yeah.
But then is there ever times when you're sat there going, I'm struggling this week?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Asking about Harry. I've got my own problems.
Yeah, there's like over the past probably year, I haven't really drunk as much because I always find if I start drinking, I'm like, I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
And then I start going a bit down. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think about it too much because obviously I care about you and Mum. So if people ask, I want to say,
natural,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm like, they're good. They're doing really well. How is this? And Mum's that. Blah blah blah. But yeah, there is times that if you're just not in the mood.
Because obviously you're almost the same to a certain extent as far as what people see of you and what people perceive of you is someone who's laughing and joking all the time.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's that Robbie Williams effect, isn't it? Where you don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're good at hiding it.
Definitely.
Which I think a lot of people are. And then it's almost like I have to think about things sometimes because if I see someone that's more open with it or quite outright, as in I feel shit, and then they're really loud and then obviously that's how they deal with it. I found like over the years I've had to learn to be like they're being a dick.
Yeah.
To realising that's how they deal with it.
Yeah, because I mean it's something that I've learned a lot more in sobriety, especially going to my groups, that I don't like to judge people.
Yeah.
Because I've been guilty of that, as most people have. It's you see someone, you make a snap decision of what they're about, and then you find out that you're very wrong. And then you feel terrible about yourself because obviously I suffer. People had judgments about me without knowing what I was going through. People just assumed that I was arrogant.
Yeah.
That I was this really arrogant, overconfident person that they'd see in the pub. And obviously I did sleep around a bit in my younger days and things like that. So people just see me as that's all I was. And it's like, no, there's more under the surface. You know what I mean? So that's why I tend to not try and judge people too fast because you never know what's going on in someone's head. Yeah,
that's right. Because obviously we always you make the joke that I'm the horrible one. Because
it's not a joke.
It is a joke. But
actually, sorry to interrupt, but let's get this going.
Because I was gonna say, you always say I'm the horrible one, but people say I'm the nice one.
Everyone thinks you're nice.
But that's because I know when to do it. I know when or who to say stuff about.
I do now.
Yeah.
I didn't when I was
shooting. Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. I think that's why. So like you say I'm horrible, but
that's what I get. I love George. He's so cute. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's only stone.
I don't see what they see. I mean, there's baby pictures. We can show them one day. You're cute as anything as a baby.
Up to about 10, I was going strong.
Yeah, and then it all
there
went...
was potential. And then it just went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't But then again, I know you on a much deeper level than everyone else.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, they're going by what you put out there to the world, whether it be social media, whether it be in the pub in person. You know what I mean? Like everyone decides what they want people to
I've
think
found
about.
a lot of people when I meet them, they almost, I don't think intimidate is the right word, but intimidated to come over because I look like I'm reserved and
I've
moody.
heard people say it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I find that weird because I'm like, if I start chatting to someone, I'm fine, I'm laughing and
Yeah.
joking, but I must have like a resting bitch face, as they call it, that when I'm sitting in a pub, I'm just eyes
Yeah, because
down.
I've had similar. Because I mean, I am miserable.
Yeah,
I am just a miserable old man, and I have been since I was 16. I was drinking brandy and listening to country music. We're not going to keep doing that. Yeah, I've been drinking brandy and listening to country music since I was 16.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've always had a perception of someone who's moody and miserable, and I am. I do get the I'm very short fusey.
Yeah.
My missus will tell you that. She has to live with me on a daily basis.
Oh, bless her, yeah.
And I don't know how she puts up with me because when I'm on form, there's not really many people better to be around. I'll make you laugh and we can have the best time ever. But when I dip, and then I get short fusey over everything and get angry. So I've always been an old man. So I think people have been a bit wary of bringing up any sort of subject to me because it can send me. You know what I mean? When I'm like, well, hold on, I've got something to say about that, and it sets me off. But the difference is I don't have your side.
No.
That's why I think some people have been wary of your nights out and have said it. People that I've met have found out that you're my little brother that don't want to talk to you because you're massive.
Yeah, but it's not massive in an intimidating way. That's what I mean. I'm not like big, muscly bloke. No. I'm fucking fat.
Yeah, but you've got the back of a rhino. So I see you there like, I'm not going to get in trouble with him.
What's funny is obviously Craig now is like my best mate.
Yeah.
And
that's controversial, isn't it?
Well,
you're putting that out there.
No. We've got like we're all best mates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no one answers.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, he's one of my best mates. One of
yeah.
my best
Edit
mates.
That out.
No, yeah, but like, yeah, he's my best mate. But when I first met him, it was down the Crown, and it was through like all the football night and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it was during the Euros, and I was sitting on the table. He walked up and they're all chatting, and he met like Connor and that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they said to me, yeah, we're just sitting over there, like George is sitting on the table. And apparently he turned around and looked at me like, because he just thought, I don't want to go and sit. And I must have looked moody. I was sitting there like that, and I had my drink.
Yeah.
Not talking to anyone, I'm like flicking through my phone.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying to me, like, he was a little bit like,
I'm not walking over there.
Yeah. And then it's ended up being that we're like best
mates.
Yeah,
best mates.
Not joking.
There's some people out there I feel bad for right now.
Who?
I'm not going to name names.
Ben.
Yeah.
Ben's alright. Ben and Connor are best mates. They've been best mates since they were like kids, so we don't do that, we're adults. Best friends.
That's what I always think. That's the other thing I was going to give you stick for before that. Because I can't remember I'm going to offend people now. I can't remember the last time I had a best friend.
Yeah, no.
When people say,
it's just easier to explain it to other people.
But then that's a good example of what I was talking about me being moody. When someone can just, we're just having a conversation. Who would you say is your best friend? And rather than me just answering, it turns out I've got a 7-year-old girl. I don't have a best friend. What are you talking about? And then I'll start going, people are like, all right. And then I think in my head, like, why did I just snap at them for that?
Well, my best friend is...
Yeah, sat there, yeah. Both wearing matching wristbands. And I'm like, ugh. I don't know what's made me like this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you're the horrible one. It's not me. But
well, this will prove.
You'll get there. You'll be all
right. We'll see, won't we? I don't know how long we've done, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. But
okay, shot. I'm in a relapsing by the
I was gonna say, yeah.
It's too fun of a game for me to miss out on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've ended up getting deep with this one, but
then, yeah, that was something that we said we were going to talk about anyway. So I'm glad that we covered it.
Yeah.
So people get a rough idea. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'd say it'll be a bit more light-hearted and stuff, and it would just sort of be chatting about it.
We'll just see. Things will happen in our lives that we might discuss that week. There will be comments on the videos they might want us to discuss.
That was going to be the main thing. Is if people want to know either specifics about us or our take on something. I think, like we've said, we've been through enough that I'm not going to be one of them that's like, I know better.
No.
But we've been through enough that I think we do have like a fairly good, valid opinion on it.
And everything that we say on it is our opinion.
Yeah.
And is us basing it on our own personal experiences. We're not talking for other people.
No.
I want to make that clear, because I don't want this to turn into a controversial thing.
You got through sobriety this way, so that will work for you. That's no. Everyone's different, and everyone deals with things differently.
Yeah. So anything we say, you got to take with a pinch of salt. We're just talking about from our own personal experiences, what we know.
Yeah, and sadly, we've been cursed with the fact that we're very just to the point and open about it.
Get it out there,
buttering it up. It's very much just, this is how I feel. Deal with it.
Yeah, that's it.
Because we're just a couple of old blokes, you know?
Mhm.
Big blokes.
There's a big forearm. That watch looked like it was about to burst off.
Yeah.
That. I don't know whether to carry on. I don't know how long we've done, or whether to wrap it up there. I think that's a good.
Probably called it a day.
We've sort of covered what we wanted to for the first episode.
Yeah, it's got deep. We've had a laugh.
People sort of know what this is going to be about.
Yeah, and obviously you could just let us know if you want it a bit more light-hearted. We'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just throw the emotions to the back again, and we'll make people laugh.
We've got good at that.
Yeah, we've got very good at that. Or we can.
There's going to be singing requests as well. That's just going to happen.
We could cry on camera if you want to get that deep.
I haven't cried in a long time, mate.
No. You'll get it. We get it.
Yeah.
We'll get it.
Get one tear rolled out. Yeah.
Suck it back up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, we hope you enjoyed. Yeah, feel free to comment and let us know. And yeah, we'll probably either do it as like a weekly or a fortnightly thing. It depends on when we're free and stuff, and obviously if people want it, and if you want to hear longer or shorter, or you sort of let us know. It's not something we're going to pump out at you and be like, this is what it is. It's just sort of let us know.
If this is becoming a regular thing, as well, we've got to get better chairs.
Yeah, because
this is horrendous.
Way. I need to sneeze as well.
Yeah. Should we call it a day before, or should we get a sneeze on camera?
It's gone. All right, we're good. Not going to embarrass ourselves.
Big straight in the lens.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a pleasure.
I'll let you close it.
It's been emotional, would you say?
It's been emotional.
And all the best. God bless, isn't it?
That's it.